Hi, I'm Nick from Sundance, and this is the new C-288 from Cutwater. This is a replacement to the C-288 Cutwater. It is a twin outboard boat instead of a single diesel inboard boat, and it's a 1.5 feet wider. It's 10 feet wide instead of 8.5 feet wide. And there's a lot of updates and improvements and next generation stuff throughout the boat. So we're going to take a look at that today as part of our virtual boat show series. We're not going to have an opportunity to run the boat. We're in beautiful Fort Lauderdale, Florida at the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show, and the boat is trapped in the display. So if you're looking for performance and running information, we'll do that in a different video. This is just going to be a walkthrough. We're also not going to have pricing on the boat because it's going to be dependent on where your local dealer is and options and freight and other variables. So check with your local dealer for current pricing. So for now, we're going to do a quick walkthrough, and then we'll do a more detailed walkthrough and take an in-depth look at the boat. So starting in the back, we have twin 250 horsepower Yamaha outboards and the Cutwater Clear Path swim step, which we'll talk a lot about in a minute. That's a big deal. A folding cockpit bench seat, cockpit seat over here. Inside the boat, it looks very familiar. It looks very Cutwater, which is a good thing, but with some improvements, some enhancements. So it's beamier, it's a wider boat, so you can feel the extra space inside. We have a nice galley on the starboard side, a very well appointed helm station here with Garmin navigation electronics. A dinette on the port side that's a little bit larger than before. The forward stateroom, the V-berth, and the head are a little more spacious than before, and this will convert to a dinette as well. So we're going to start over and take a much more detailed look at the boat. Hope you enjoy. Thanks. Starting in the back of the 288, we have two 250 horsepower Yamaha outboards and the Cutwater Clear Path swim step. And this is a big design feature. This is really the next generation of swim platform design around outboard power. You can board from the sides, either side, and you have access, unobstructed access with no trip hazards. You can also stern tie the boat. It's got fenders built into the back of the boat for pulling it all the way back into a dock. So that is a big deal. This is a big part of what sets the 288 apart from the previous 28 Cutwater and from pretty much all the other boats on the market today. So when you board the 288, there's some very solid stainless steel grab rails here. On the port side, we have a Kenyon electric grill. And underneath that, this is the cover for the grill. The boat includes covers for the windows and some of the exterior components like the grill, and two propane bottles for the propane stove inside, and a little bit of storage. Here we're taking a closer look at the Clear Path swim platform on the 288. You can see there's no trip hazards, there's no obstructions. You can walk around the outboards. Everything is run underneath, and this is proprietary Cutwater in-house design stuff. It's really a great idea. If you've spent a lot of time on outboard boats, sometimes it can be pretty tight back here and have rigging running across the swim platform that's a trip hazard. This boat doesn't have that, so this is a big deal. On the starboard side, we have a ladder under this hatch for climbing back onto the boat from the water. And then these fishing rod holders, which, well, they look like fishing rod holders. You can stick a fishing rod in there, but it also supports the cockpit sun awning. And then we have fuel fills, two fuel fills over here, one for each of the gas tanks. On the starboard side, we have this aerated live well, which can be used for, if you're fishing with live bait, it can be kept in here. In the Northwest, we have customers keep crab in these. So if you can keep your crab live in there. And then a boarding door. It's on a friction hinge, so it doesn't move around underway. This is another new design on the 288. So Cutwater has a lot of experience with folding seats, and this is the next evolution in their design, and it works really well. I'd say better than anything I've seen in the past from anybody. And how this works, we unlock here, and just like that. It's amazing. So there's armrests. The design is it's so simple, and it works so well, and it's so solid. And it locks just like that. And then to go the other direction, same thing. And it's almost weightless. It's balanced so well. This armrest will just sit down like that. And they're using really durable hardware to make all this work. So there's 2 locking points here. These ones are spring-loaded, and so when you're moving it, it just locks into place. And then 2 barrel bolts over here to fasten it even more securely if you have it in this position and you're running the boat in rough water. On the port side, there's another folding seat right there, and a raw water washdown hookup down there, which is powered by this switch here. Turns that on, and then we have underwater lights, cockpit overhead lights in white and red, and then the courtesy lights, the blue LED courtesy lights down below. This window here opens, and this turns into an additional cockpit seat. I'll show you how that works. The door hardware is really solid, by the way. So we flip this seat back here, unlock, unlock, and it just pops open like that. Oh, and that air conditioning inside feels really nice. So having outboard power instead of inboard, there's a lot of storage down below. We'll take a look at that. So storage as well as some battery access. I believe we're looking at probably engine start batteries, because I know the house bank is lithium ion and it's over on the other side, which we'll take a look at here in a sec. In the middle, we have a large storage compartment, the holding tank, hot water tank. That's the air conditioning pump for the air conditioning system, which in the Northwest, we'd normally order this boat in the Northwest edition, which would have a diesel furnace instead of air conditioning. This one, it's Florida, it's hot, it's got air, so that's what that pump is. There's 2 fuel tanks just forward. You have access to the aft end of both of the fuel tanks, where the fills go in and where the senders send the signal to the instruments at the helm to tell you your fuel level. There's the raw water washdown pump, fuel filters, fuel water separators for the engines, and some bilge pump access. And on the starboard side under the cockpit, we have some storage, where you can see we've got some fenders thrown in right now, and the lithium battery bank. So that is part of the air conditioning package. The air conditioning and reverse cycle heat actually runs on the lithium batteries instead of having a generator. So if the boat's equipped with the Northwest edition, it does not come with the lithium battery bank, and it would not really need the lithium battery bank. It's a higher capacity battery bank for running the air conditioning system. There's also access to the domestic water pump and the hydraulic steering pump. Just inside the cabin to the starboard side is the galley. We have a propane cooktop, sink, convection microwave, and then some storage. Nice big drawer down here. Oh, and that's the Cutwater safety kit, so flares, fire extinguishers, first aid kit. And then we just have some drawers. This bottom drawer, if you pull this all the way out and remove it, just pops out. There's some bilge access under there and some wire runs, so that can be convenient to, it's convenient to get at. And then the fridge. To the port side, we have a nice large dinette and table with cup holders if you flip this in this direction. The table drops down to here, and there's a filler cushion to convert this into a berth. To drop the table, we just unlock these and push down. It's assisted, so you have to push it down and you have to push it down evenly. There we go. And then keep a little bit of weight on it. Lock those back up, and then that filler cushion goes in there. And I don't know where it is, so I'm not going to be able to show you how that works, but you can imagine that's pretty easy to do. And then to pop it back up, just like that, and lock, lock. This was that flip seat, and these are the locks to open this hatch, which I'll keep closed to keep some of the air conditioning in. The forward seat in the dinette, the seat back flips. Move that pillow, just like that, for forward-facing seating while you're underway. So you can get two people here as well as the captain over there. And it's a very easy flip. And then a wine cooler down here. And on the starboard side, the helm. Let's take a look at all this stuff. So Yamaha power, twin engine, so 2 levers. The Yamaha ignition key goes here, start stop, push button start stop here, bow thruster here. Garmin navigation electronics, so we have a 12-inch Garmin screen here. The Yamaha display, so when the engines are running, you'll have all the critical engine information up here. Garmin autopilot. And then of course you can see Cutwater left a nice big open space here for a second Garmin if you want. You don't really need a second Garmin because you can accomplish a lot with split screen or overlays over the chart on a device like this, and you can customize what's displayed. So you could have chart with radar overlaid and speed and depth in this information bar here, and you really have a lot of information on one screen. But 2 can be nice, so you can add a second one here. And when we're down in the head, we'll be able to see how easy it is to access the backside of this whole dash area. And then some power switches, anchor light, nav light, windlass up, down. The chart light here is a white or red, so you can turn on the red light for running at night and it won't impact your night vision as much. Bilge pump overrides, an emergency parallel for the engines. Some accessories. I'm not sure what these accessory switches do or if they're even set up with something for they might just be extras. And then the overboard discharge, the head discharge. Horn and windshield wipers. There's an air conditioning vent right here. It's really nice. It's really hot here. That helps to keep you cool. And VHF. Over to my right, Lenco trim tab controls, and this little storage compartment, which is great for keys or a wallet or a cell phone, and a cup holder back here. So the helm seat is on a sliding base. This lever, just pull this lever and it'll slide forward, and then this bolster will flip down. So let's see, slide back, flip that down. And it's just at the perfect height, great visibility, really 360 degrees, perfect. Going down to the stateroom, there's a nice storage hanging locker here, storage down below here, and the head. So let's take a closer look. The Fusion stereo, here's this unit, Fusion stereo unit, that's got Sirius XM radio. It's an option, but I noticed on this boat it is installed. So Sirius XM radio, and I'm sure it's got Bluetooth too. And then the back side of that unit is easily accessible. I'm going to reach my hand in and touch it. You won't be able to see it, but just like that, and we can access the back side of that unit if it needs to be serviced or worked on. The TV is on this nice, easy to use mount. Pops out like this. You can face the TV aft for watching from the dinette or into the berth. And it's locked back into place. And then here's that hanging locker. There's an opening porthole in the hanging locker, so just more ventilation. There's access to the port side windshield wiper motor, so if that ever needed to be serviced. There's a 110 outlet. And down below here is just a large storage cabinet. And then back under the step, you won't be able to see it, but there's access to one of the air conditioning units, very easy access, and access to the Garmin autopilot brain. And there's also a carbon monoxide detector on the bulkhead there. And in the berth, there's an air conditioning unit control here, and lots of lighting, 2 opening hatches up above. And those will have screens. They're not on them right now, but you can open them, put the screen in, keep the bugs out. And then opening windows, opening portholes, port and starboard. And then in the middle, there's of course a filler cushion to make this into a full berth. And you can pull this cushion out, and there's a table that goes into a base in the floor. So this can be used as another dinette. So I found and popped the filler cushion in here so I can show you how large this berth is. Well, let's see. Yeah, there's a ton of room up here. They filled the whole V of the boat with the berth, so it's a very large berth. Inside the head of the 288, it's a roomy, spacious head. We have access to the backside of the helm, the dash area, the navigation electronics, the helm pump. This is the duct for the air conditioning blowing at you on the helm, and then some 12-volt fuses right here. The shower hooks up right here. It's separate from the sink faucet, so it's not one of the ones you pull out of the sink and hook on the wall. It's a separate unit. There's access to the starboard side windshield wiper motor there. And in this cabinet, storage and some plumbing and the TP holder. And then over here, there's a little door down by the floor where we can access, looks like there's a gray water sump box. So the shower is going to drain into that gray water sump box to be pumped out. And that is a service maintenance item where you need to get in there and clean that out. So that's easy, very easy to access. And our bilge pump, and looks like a through-hole transducer access there probably for depth, for the depth sounder on the Garmin screen. To the port side, underneath the dinette, is the second berth. So you just lift that up. The seat back has to be in the aft position like this. Then you lift that up, and I'll climb down in here. So there's a lot of room down here, quite a bit more room than the old 28 as a result of the extra beam. There's the electrical panel, so let's talk about that first. There's an air conditioning control unit here, bilge high water alarm, the inverter control panel here. Looks like this is indicating the battery charge level at 100%. The main battery switches here, so house, engine, thruster. And they've simplified looks like they've simplified the DC electrical a bit. There's not a panel with a bunch of switches that you're going to regularly be turning off and on. It's just house on, and then these main switches, it looks like they intend to pretty much leave on all the time. The house main, there's just one 80 amp DC breaker for house main, and then that will feed all the individual components through some fuse boxes. There's a fuse box over here where everything's nicely labeled, so you can easily identify and replace those fuses if necessary. And there's also access to the battery charger down here, the solar charge controller, the Garmin XM antenna, and looks like AC power for the air conditioning pump. This is the shore power main breaker. So the shore power comes in from the dock into the cockpit and then goes to this main breaker, and then it feeds the AC electrical panel, either shore power or the inverter, and the lithium battery bank could potentially also power this panel. So air conditioners, outlets, microwave, the grill in the back, battery charger, water heater, and then this indicates that we have 110, 120 volts coming from the dock, and the current load is 10 amps. So in the berth, I've got my feet all the way against the bottom. Lots of room, plenty of room for 2 people in here, and then 2 opening windows, opening portholes here for ventilation. To access the bow of the 288, we'll go upside the starboard side deck here. There's lots of grab rails to hold on to, and this kind of foot retention piece on the side deck to help keep your feet secure. On the top of the cabin, there's the solar panel and then the radar mast with the Garmin radar. Here we've got the windlass, the Lumar windlass, and access to the chain locker. So chain and rode down and drop down into there. An extra cleat to secure the windlass while you're underway, or to secure the anchor while you're underway in case the windlass loosens up. And down controls for the windlass. There's also controls at the helm to lower and raise the anchor. Thanks for watching. That was the new Cutwater C-288. For option information, pricing information, contact your closest dealer. And if you're interested in owning one of these boats, I'd act quickly. Production slots are sold out quite a ways into the future presently. It's a very popular, it's a hot product, and for good reason. Contact Sundance if you're in the Portland area or the Seattle area, or contact your closest dealer if you're somewhere else. Thanks a lot.